Last Monday, Dave Williams pitched 5 2/3 innings of shutout baseball, and tonight he was scheduled to make his 10th start of the season. But a shoulder injury has the left-hander likely out for the year. So the Pirates have turned to right-hander Bronson Arroyo. Fresh up from the minors, Arroyo hopes to use tonight's start as a giant step toward getting perhaps a last chance at a spot in the rotation. From St. Louis, Arroyo and the Pirates look for a second straight win over the Cardinals. Yeah, from St. Louis, Missouri and Busch Stadium, it's game 2 of the 3-game series. The 6-game road trip for the Buccos rolls on. Greg Brown along with Bob Walk. Pirates played a nice game last night behind Josh Fogg. They'll take their chances with Bronson Arroyo tonight. We'll talk more about that in just a bit. First, let's show you the updated standings in the National League Central Division. Pirates, as we have said, Bob, want to try and hang in there, and they're doing that, pulling to within 5 games now the St. Louis Cardinals, who are just a game and a half back of the Reds.
Yeah, they are hanging in there. I do believe the Cardinals, from what we've seen of this whole division, they're the cream of the crop, and they're going to keep going up, and eventually they're going to pass those Reds.
Well, how about the offense? The last 3 games now in a row, the Pirates have collected 10 or more hits, so we thought it might be coming around, and maybe that's the case.
Well, you have to take advantage of it when it does happen, and the Pirates are able to do that. But still, I don't think that they're ever going to really win any slugging matches this year. But they can get better than they have been, and I hope the trend continues.
Craig Wilson has come around the last 10 days or so, hitting over 300. Maybe this is his time.
Well, that's one of the reasons that I have hope for this offense could come around. We saw Craig Wilson last year in limited role do very well, give us some power off the bench. Hasn't done that as a starter this year, but there's still a lot of time.
By the way, you saw that graphic, hot as St. Louis. It is hot here tonight, game 2 of this 3-game series. Pokey Reese is also back in the lineup for the first time in a week. Now, we don't know what we're going to get offensively. You certainly know what he brings to the table defensively.
Well, because of the offense, when we've won games, most of the time it's been done with pitching and defense, and Pokey has been a big part of that this year, and it's always nice to have that glove of his out in the middle of the infield.
Always nice to have Jason Kendall starting to hit. He's doing that of late. 3 more hits last night, and he will start his 4th straight game from a number 3 spot of the batting order. We'll have more coming up from St. Louis in a moment.
Pittsburgh Pirates baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Giant Eagle, the official supermarket of the Pittsburgh Pirates. By Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light, cold down easy. By Pennzoil, we're driving protection. By MEC Racing Network, open an Express Bet account and wager by phone or online, anytime, anywhere. And by your Western Pennsylvania Toyota dealers. Toyota, get the feeling.
Again, from St. Louis, the Pirates and the Cardinals. Let's get a look at our pitching matchup. Darryl Kile is the veteran. He starts tonight for St. Louis, the 33-year-old right-hander. 9-11 lifetime against Pittsburgh with a 4.73 earned run average against the Bucks. Darryl Kile against Bronson Arroyo, called up yesterday from AAA Nashville. You're looking at his numbers as a Pirate. In his career, 44 games, 7-13, 5.68 ERA, and in 25 career starts, he's 6-11.
Now, Darryl Kile, when he is on, he can dominate a team just as well as anybody in this league. Bronson Arroyo done with his tosses. He's walking in with Spin Williams. So you don't really know when you're going against Kile, you know, exactly what you're going to do with the sticks at any particular night, because he can be one of the best there is. Got a great curveball.
There is Darryl Kile, the veteran, against Bronson Arroyo, who made 10 appearances for the AAA Nashville Sounds, had an earned run average of 2.35 with Nashville. Bucks and Redbirds coming up next. We're back in St. Louis where the Pirates get set to take on the Cardinals in the middle game of this 3-game series. Take a look at the Dodge Pirates starting lineup under Lloyd McClendon. The Bucks are 25-29. Chad Hermanson still hurting with that sore shoulder, so Adrian Brown again in center field. Jack Wilson, Jason Kendall, and Brian Giles follow. Aramis Ramirez hits 5th. Craig Wilson, first career 4-hit game last night. He's in right field. Kevin Young at first. Pokey Reese at second base. And Bronson Arroyo pitches tonight for Pittsburgh. Darryl Kile on the mound for the Redbirds.
Let's take a look at his scouting report. Seems like every time I make one of these scouting reports out, Greg, I put Giles' name in there.
Yeah, knock it off.
He hits everybody. You see 9 for 21, 4 home runs, 9 RBIs. Kile, good fastball. The curveball is his best pitch, one of the best ones. It breaks just straight down. And since he's become a Cardinal, early in his year, guys used to run wild on him. Since he's become a Cardinal, he has only allowed 8 stolen bases, and runners have been caught 21 times trying to steal. I would think that a lot of that is because of Matheny, who was a very good catcher, but still, you have to give Kile some credit. He's made some adjustments in that department.
This is his 3rd season in a Cardinals uniform. Pepsi Cardinals defense. Placido Polanco and Edgar Renteria on the left side of the infield. Miguel Cairo and Eduardo Perez on the right side. Albert Pujols in left. Eli Marrero makes his 6th start in center. J.D. Jew in right. And Mike Matheny does the catching, as Bob mentioned. Bronson Arroyo and the Pirates getting a bit of a break as you see those names out there. Marrero in center, with Jim Edmonds still hurting from that sprained wrist last night. Struggling Tino Martinez rested in favor of Eddie Perez, and Fernando Vina down with the flu. Strike is called on Adrian Brown, hitting 200 with a homer and 13 RBIs. It's not as hot as I thought. It's only 93. Just announced the game time temperature, so let's quit complaining. Adrian Brown, a fly ball, right center. Eli Marrero makes the catch.
Very seldom do you play in this ballpark during the summer where heat is not a factor of some sort. They have made it better, though, putting in the natural grass, getting that turf out of here. Day game here with the turf, it was like one huge solar oven. Good crowd in St. Louis, as is the case normally.
Former Cardinal prospect Jack Wilson at the plate against Kile, and he fouls this one out of play. Wilson was 0 for 4 with a sacrifice in last night's game. Mason Kendall on deck. Wilson traded for Jason Christensen a couple of summers ago. Strike 2. Christensen had surgery the other day, the Giants left-hander, and he's going to be out for quite some time. He's had a lot of health problems. 0-2 the count. Wilson fouls it off past third base coach Trent Jewett.
Good win last night for the Pirates. Josh Fogg pitching that strong ball game. Wondering before the game just what he was going to do, how he was going to react to getting beat up by these guys last time. Kyle putting that one right where Matheny wanted it, a little high.
Next to his buddy Kip Wells, there he is, Josh Fogg on the right. It's quite a combination, those two guys. Jack Wilson pops this one up toward the seats. That'll go out of play. Wells and Fogg have combined to go 14-5. Kip Wells will look for his 9th win of the year Monday night when the Pirates take on the Expos in Montreal. Hitting it to the left side of the infield, backhanded by Renteria. His throw will not get Jack Wilson. Infield hit for the Buccos shortstop.
That is a play that the third baseman really has to make. Polanco is the only guy that's going to be able to throw out somebody that can run a slowly hit ball in the hole. If it gets through the shortstop, forget it.
Now Kendall, 3 hits last night. Pirates with a 3-1 victory in game 1 of this series. They lost 2 of 3 at PNC Park to the Cardinals last weekend as Kendall takes a ball. Mike Winters, the home plate umpire. Kile 16-11 last year with a 3.09 ERA. He won 20 games for the first time in his career. His first campaign with the Redbirds. And Kendall takes a ball 2-0. Kyle's ERA was 5th lowest in the league last year. Two and nothing on Jason Kendall. A fly ball toward right. J.D. Drew coming in. 2 outs.
A lot of fastballs from Kyle so far. Not using that hook very often.
We'll see if Kyle doesn't begin to do that eventually. See Giles' numbers: 311, 13 homers, 29 runs batted in. Had his hitting streak snapped last night. 12 straight games. Ball 1.
The curveball breaks so much, it's tough to get it called for a strike sometimes.
Good numbers there for Giles against Kyle in his career.
That one's called for a strike. That ball looks like it breaks from really over Giles's head. Ball starts over Bryant's head and breaks down to his knees. What is that, about 2 feet?
Yeah. Another one, and that strike is called.
When that ball crosses the plate, it probably is up above the knees. It's just dropping down. When the ball is over the plate, that's where the umpire is supposed to call the pitch, not where the catcher catches it.
And Giles lines the fastball into right. Runners at first and second.
All those big curve balls, finally got one straight, and he was right on it. Never got off the fastball. See, that was the look of a pitcher second guessing himself. Kyle's face.
Looked as though he was shaking Matheny off a couple times.
I was thinking, why did I throw him the fastball? Every time I do, it's a base hit.
Well, how will they approach Aramis Ramirez here? Runners at first and second. Ramirez likes the fastball. He's hitting .231 with 3 homers, 17 RBIs. 1 for 5 last night. From inside, ball 1. Aramis Ramirez contributed with a couple of really nice plays. One outstanding defensive play on an Albert Pujols ground ball. Turned it into an out. Right there, Matheny to look out. Ryan Giles almost has to knock over Eduardo Perez, and in the process, Dan Isagna, the first base umpire, lost his footing, and he almost went tumbling. All kinds of action over there. Like Matheny, you do have to watch him carefully. He's a good one. Breaking ball 1 and 2.
Well, Ramirez is a good fastball hitter, Greg, but I think he's one of the better breaking ball hitters we had on the team last season.
This year struggling with it, at least early on, maybe because the time missed. Popped up. This should do it. Perez makes the catch in foul territory. Bucks get a couple of hits. Here's Bronson Arroyo. Pirates really need a big start from the young right-hander. Prusa. Take a look at the lineup card for the St. Louis Cardinals. And this is brought to you by Chrysler. Miguel Cairo, Placido Polanco, and J.D. Drew, 1, 2, 3. Albert Pujols, Eddie Perez, Edgar Renteria, the middle third of the order, and Eli Marrero, Mike Matheny, and Darryl Kile round out the starting 9 against Bronson Arroyo. His first start for the Pirates this season.
Bronson's scouting report brought to you by PNC. The second 2 points are the important ones. The control that he's shown in the minor leagues, he has to show that at the big league level to have success. He's had 2 go-arounds. This is number 3. He needs to take advantage of this one, I think, Greg.
Ball 1.
He wants to stick up here.
Bronson Arroyo, the 25-year-old, 6'5", 194 pounds. Strike is called. He was 3-4 in 10 appearances with Nashville, a 2.35 earned run average. Just 10 walks in 65 innings. That's a very good sign for Arroyo. Grounded sharply, and that's a ball that Ramirez is not able to knock down. I was just about to say, this is no excuse for Bronson Arroyo, but in his defense, and you're maybe grasping at straws, there have been a number of starts he's had for the Pirates over the past couple of years where the defense has really either collapsed on him or has not made plays that I'm sure the Pirates think they should have made behind him. A Hyundai defense behind him tonight. Giles in left, Adrian Brown in center, Craig Wilson in right, Ramirez, Wilson, Reese, and Young on the infield, Kendall the catcher.
There's some guys, Greg, it's weird like that. They just don't seem to get the breaks. Lady Luck does not smile on them.
Ball was hit fairly sharply by Cairo. Ramirez was in, but I'm sure Ramirez will tell you he should have at least knocked it down.
Sometimes it makes you wonder a little bit exactly how much does fate play in the careers of these guys out there.
Pitch out, but nothing on.
Some of them always seem to be in the right spot at the right time, and other ones don't. But right now, Bronson, he did a great job down at AAA. Put up some real good numbers. He deserves to have this start by what he did when he got sent down. We got a pull for him. I'm hoping that he does well for the Pirates' sake and for his.
Runner goes on the hit and run. It's fouled off.
That control is really big for him. He is not a power guy. He throws up there in the high 80s. Doesn't have a big breaking strikeout type breaking ball either. So he has to change speeds and hit his spots. That's the name of the game for him. When he first came up, I thought he was going to be a good control pitcher, but it has been a little inconsistent. It's not like he's just terribly wild, but just wild enough, and then wild in the strike zone, where he's been throwing some very hittable pitches at times.
It's 2-1 on Polanco. Third round pick of the Pirates in 1995. Bronson Arroyo, born in Key West, Florida, lives in Brooksville near Tampa. 2-1. Now the runner goes again, and it's into left field for the base hit. This will put runners at first and third. Just a little blooper into left.
Now Jack doesn't break to cover the bag. He's going to catch that little blooper. A little hit and run action, and it paid off. Jack broke the second, and then that ball hit on the grass maybe 10-15 feet behind the infield dirt. They're not running. Jack's going to make that catch.
Jose Oquendo instructions there to Cairo. Polanco the base hit. Now J.D. Drew.
Talking about breaks, there's another one. You know, a little jam shot blooper, and it falls right where the shortstop normally would be if he hadn't gone to cover the bag.
Now the infield looks for a double play ball, but J.D. Drew hits it hard the other way. Giles back toward the wall and off the wall. Adrian Brown was right there, so that will keep the runner from scoring. A double that brings home Cairo from third. Polanco goes to third base on the opposite field two-base hit. 1-0 Cardinals.
And this is a ball here, Greg, that Giles sometimes catches. Did you see him keep looking back for the baseball 3 or 4 times? He was fooled by how far this ball carried. Now, if Brian would have known when the ball was hit that it was going to be off the wall, he wouldn't have done all that looking back. He would have put his head down, ran to the wall, then looked back to find it. But he wasn't sure how far that one was carrying, and he had to keep looking back at it to to find the baseball and then, you know, make an adjustment.
Pirates are going to put Albert Pujols on intentionally to load him up with nobody out, and Bronson Arroyo has to really buckle down here. Eduardo Perez on deck.
Perez just 4 base hits on the year. 3 of them have been home runs, though, and the other one was a double. So he is a very dangerous 098 hitter at this point. The guy that has struggled with that stick, but when he does hit it, the ball can jump. He's got some pop.
Intentional walk issue. It's been Williams with the first inning trip to the mound.
For Bronson, it's very important he does not lose his composure right now. He's, I'm sure, very disappointed. He knows that this is an opportunity for him, and here he is in the middle of his very first inning with the bases loaded, nobody out, a run in. But he's got to figure out a way to block all of that out. Just focus on making some good pitches, and whatever happens, happens after that. It's out of his control. The only thing he can control is where he throws the baseball and what that baseball does on its way to its target. That's what he controls. That's what he needs to focus on right now. Nothing else.
Bases loaded, no one out, 1-0. Infield looks for a double play ball. This breaking pitch stays up. Eduardo Perez getting the start for the struggling Tino Martinez. Eduardo, the son, of course, of Hall of Famer Tony Perez. You can see the similarities.
Very slow breaking ball. He tried to get over for strike 1. Both of those 71 miles an hour. That's taken a lot off.
Polanco at third. Hit and run single, drew the opposite field double, and Albert Pujols walked intentionally. Line to left. Giles coming on. Can't make the catch. He might have a play at third. However, the stretch pulls Ramirez off the bag. Everybody's safe. 2-0.
Drew is fooled on this. He thinks it's going to be a catch. As that ball hits the grass, he's going back to second. Now panic sets in. Tries to get to third. Any kind of an accurate throw, he's out. And even if Ramirez leaves the bag, gets the baseball, and then comes back, he's okay. But he tried to stretch for it and ended up going the opposite direction. Instead of toward the bag, he was going away from the bag.
Edgar Renteria drives one into the gap in right center field. Redbird's going to clear the bases, perhaps. Here's the relay to the plate over the head of Kendall. Runner to third. Wow. 5-0 St. Louis. Renteria the double and going to third on the throw home.
Did Pokey make that throw?
Yep.
It might tell us a little something about that finger. That cleared Kendall's head by about 6 feet. Good job of playing it off the wall by Wilson. Got it on one hop. Hits the cutoff man, and then Pokey's throw clears everything. Bronson Arroyo back there where he's supposed to be, backing it up, but still could not prevent Renteria from getting into third.
A 5-0 game, still nobody out. Here's Eli Marrero. Infield in. Joe Beimel starts warming already.
Official score maybe going Reese a favor, not giving him an error on that throw. If that throw is to Kendall.
Renteria hits the dirt.
Oh, that's why you take your lead in foul territory coming down from third.
To the shortstop, Wilson looks the runner back. Finally, the first out.
Batting eighth, number 22, catcher Mike Matheny.
Mike Matheny. So Bronson Arroyo and the Pirates find themselves down 5-0 here in the first. And wanting at the very least to get a small victory out of this. Arroyo trying to keep Renteria from scoring. Infield still in. Renteria, real aggressive lead off a third. That pitch was coming in. And the squeeze is on, and it will work. They'll get one out. 6-0.
Renteria blocked the squeeze on the pitch before. As you said, aggressive lead. He actually sprinted about 4 steps coming down the line, then stopped. This time, there was no stopping. He was coming all the way. Matheny, a nice job getting the bunt down. There he comes.
Six nothing. Kile, the 9th man to bat. Suicide sacrifice squeeze bunt for Matheny. Oh, 0-2 on Darryl Kile. Arroyo, the 0-2 offering, and he gets him, I believe. He'll appeal it. Oh, first base umpire said no. Kevin Young and the other infielders had trotted 2 steps toward their dugout. Lloyd McClendon talking to the home plate umpire about the call, but doesn't seem to be real upset about it. There we go. Strike 3 called. Now Pirates have to go to work with their offense against Darryl Kile, trailing 6-0. 6-0 St. Louis. Here in the second inning, it'll be Craig Wilson, Kevin Young, and Pokey Reese. And Bronson Arroyo disappointed, but as we said at the outset, he sure as heck didn't get any breaks. Mark Shad of Coriopolis is the Giant Eagle home run hitters contestant.
If Giles' throw is on target, there's an out for him. If Pokey Reese's throw is on target, there's an out for him. Plus the guy doesn't go to third.
If Ramirez knocks the ball down, there's an out for him to start the inning. Ball 1 on Craig Wilson.
And even if Renteria goes to third, you can't squeeze with 2 outs, so he wouldn't score. But that's what we're talking about when we're talking about lady luck, fate. Sometimes you need just to have a little of that luck on your side.
2-1 on Wilson.
And you know, he also gave up some pretty hard hit balls too.
2-1 pitch. Strike is called to even the count. Craig Wilson enjoyed his first career 4-hit game last night. 4 for 4, a couple of runs batted in. 2 consecutive strong offensive performances for Craig Wilson as he checks his swing. And what's fair is fair. And Asagna said he didn't go. It's 3-2.
That one would have got Mac barking.
Yeah, I believe that would have been made him a little angry. 3-2 the count, and popped them up. Matheny over, and just a couple of rows back.
Got to use both hands on that, don't you? Gentleman tried to one-hand it down there. Got the muff.
Still 3-2 on Craig Wilson, the Pirate. There was a one-time Cardinal with the same name. Count remains full on Wilson. And another foul ball. Stays 3-2.
Velocity on Kyle's fastball. Looks like it's dropped off a little bit from what I remember seeing him throw last year.
High fly ball to left. Pujols started in, now comes on to make the catch. Join Dan Potash after the game for Pittsburgh Sports Tonight. Are the Buccos bullish on Bullington? You'll hear what the possible top pick has to say in Tuesday's draft. Is Steelers fullback Dan Kreider back up to speed after a freak injury last year? We'll feature him, plus Pirates prospect Adrian Burnside, the Australian star pitcher for the Curve. Could find out if he's in the big league sometime soon. That and more after the game. Strike on Kevin Young. Young 0 for 3 and a walk last night. Batting average still very disappointing, 193.
Publicly voiced his displeasure at the he really didn't name Kevin Young by name, but named the position. Said that the lack of production from first base and right field doesn't change. It's going to be very tough to win very many games this year. Mac citing the fact that both those positions put us last in that category in National League, maybe in baseball.
Young, fly ball, center field. Marrero out number 2. Kevin Young flies out, 2 outs in the second. Now Pokey Reese. Reese missed a week with that finger injury. There's just been a couple of weeks on the disabled list earlier, hamstring problem. He has missed 24 games. This is the Pirates' 55th game of the year, and Reese has missed 24 of them. And there's a possible hit, and it will be. And Torria could only knock it down.
Bronson Arroyo coming up now. And be a big lift for his spirits if he could help out here and get a base hit. We thought when Bronson came up that he was going to be a good hitting pitcher.
That was the scouting report. Good athlete and a liner, but right at the third baseman Polanco. 2 out infield to hit. All the Bucks can muster against Kile. Top of the order again, due up against Arroyo for St. Louis. We're back 6-0 St. Louis. I want to remind you, coming up Friday at PNC Park, the Bucks begin a brief 3-game homestand. The Milwaukee Brewers are in town for a 7:05 start, and all fans get a beach towel courtesy of West Penn Allegheny Health System. For tickets, call toll-free 877-893-BUCKS. 877-893-BUCS. Get a beach towel Friday night. Buccos Brewers at PNC Park. First pitch to Miguel Cairo is ball 1. Cairo hit the ball off Ramos Ramirez, past him to lead off the home half of the first inning, and he grounds one to short. Jack Wilson goes on to get Cairo. 1 up, 1 down for Arroyo. Now facing Polanco. Arroyo made his big league debut in June of 2000. Not as a pitcher, but as a pinch hitter against Atlanta. The night before, he made his first big league start on June the 13th. Gave up 5 runs in 5 innings that night against the Braves. Ball and a strike on Placido Polanco. Arroyo made 20 appearances in 2000, 12 of them starts. Last year made 13 starts. Two balls and a strike.
Amazing how baseball is so tough to predict, Greg. And you're looking at this Cardinal lineup and thinking this afternoon, well, the Pirates maybe catching a break. Some of the big bats are out of there. And 6 runs in the first.
Two, breaking ball, bouncer to short. Jack Wilson on to first, 2 outs.
Looks like a pretty good curveball.
Arroyo started a game Tuesday for the Nashville Sounds at New Orleans. He went 6 innings. So working on short rest. J.D. Drew doubled off the wall and left in the first inning. One and one on J.D. Drew. Selected in the first round by the Cardinals. Whoa, look out.
He still gets booed heavily in Philadelphia. Wasn't it the Phillies that
weren't able to come to terms with him? Yep. After they initially drafted him in the first round of 1997's draft.
Philly fans didn't forget that.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
Drew sat out and went and played for an independent team that year, an independent league. Up in Minnesota or somewhere like that.
Yep. Sat out the entire year playing.
Well, you have to do that if
St. Paul.
You get drafted and you don't sign with that team. You know, they have their right. They got the rights to you until the draft the next year. So if you don't want to play with them, you have to just set out, go through the same process again.
Talking to Dave McKay, and of course it was Ed Creech who oversaw that draft of the Cardinals in 1998, selecting J.D. Drew, the 5th overall pick that year. Ed Creech is now the scouting director for the Pirates as they get ready to draft #1 pick in the nation on Tuesday. Last inning, the Bucs elected to walk Pujols intentionally to load the bases. Eddie Perez followed with a run-scoring single. One and one on Pujols, who had the phenomenal rookie campaign. One of the best first years ever.
Look at his numbers now. It's like he's not doing what he should be doing, but they're certainly not very bad numbers.
It's a pop-up. Hokie Roos says he has it. We'll head to the third here at Busch. 6-0 Cardinals.
Baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Dodge. Get somewhere. Grab life by the horns. Dodge. And by UPMC. Choose your health care as if your life depended on it.
Look at St. Louis and Union Station. That's where we stay. While we're in St. Louis.
There's your room, Greg.
Always on the lookout, Bob. Tough to get some sleep with that every hour. That chime, those bells ringing. 0-1 on Adrian Brown. He flied out his first time. Jack Wilson, Jason Kendall follow. Brown bounces it to second. And quickly one out.
Shortstop.
It's the Best Damn Sports Show, period, with host Chris Rose, Tom Arnold, and a bunch of ex-jocks. The only show that gives you sports comedy, commentary, scores, and highlights. Kick back, relax, enjoy the Best Damn Sports Show, period. Weeknights at 8 and 11 only on Fox Sports Net. Wilson had the infield hit his first time. He takes ball one from Kile. One strike. Asked Jack Wilson yesterday to try to recall the players that were in front of him, the shortstops in the system, when he was coming up through the Cardinals organization. Jack Wilson, a 9th round pick in 1998. He reeled them off quickly. This pitch is taken for a ball. Jason Wolf, Adam Kennedy, Brent Butler, Pablo Osuna. 3 of those 4 made it to the big leagues. Interestingly, all moved from short to second. Kennedy with the Angels. Brent Butler was with the Rockies last year. Pablo Osuna with the Marlins. Jason Wolf never made it. Jack Wilson stayed at short. Of course, moved to the Pirates organization in the summer of 2000. Three balls, 2 strikes. And a 1-out walk. Well, Kyle faces Kendall. Bucks. It's very early. 6-0. Kyle can be tough, but he also has a history of giving up some home runs.
Yeah, that's who he needs, a long ball.
Kendall can get on. Giles could perhaps provide that. He's got great career numbers against Kyle.
Normally when you're down 6-0, get a little conservative on those base paths, and I'm sure the Pirates will be very careful at this point as far as stealing and hitting runs. It hasn't been a strong suit of theirs again this year. A lot of guys getting thrown out at second. Either lead the league in that category or close to it. So they need to kind of play for that long ball.
Trent Jewett is the Pirates' third base coach.
Still don't understand why Kendall didn't use the pink bat anymore.
You ask him?
Yeah.
What do you say?
None of my business.
Runner goes. Swing and a miss. The hit and run. And the Pirates are going to luck out. And the Matheny throw being well off the mark.
Yeah, I thought that Matheny might complain about Kendall. Watch Kendall as he swings through this ball. It falls right across home plate. Bad throw by Matheny. If that falls on target, Wilson's got problems.
Matheny.
Watch him fall right in front of him, right across home plate. He was able to get down into a crouch that gave Matheny a throwing lane. But we have seen that catcher's interference called for way less than that this year.
Just ask Kevin Young.
Kevin Young moved his back foot about maybe 6 inches toward home plate and got called for it.
2-2. Called, third strike. That's noteworthy. It's the 6th time Kendall has struck out this season.
Left fielder, Brian Giles.
The curveball, gave up on it, and well, that's just right down the middle. Matheny caught it off to his left because it was sitting so far off the plate.
Ball 1 on Giles with Ramirez on deck. Cardinals scoring 6 runs, sending 9 men to the plate in the very first inning. Wilson in scoring position for Giles. It's 1-2.
Wow, starting to get that curveball going now. First inning, he was just spotting it here and there. Now he's throwing it about half the time.
Now it's
just the top piece of the baseball to stay alive. See if they come with a hook again. Yep. What was it that Giles yelled at Kendall yesterday when Kendall didn't know he hit a fair ball?
Run, Forrest, run.
Yeah, that's right. Jason in last night's game hit a fair ball down in the right field corner and thought that he had fouled it off, and was actually turned around and were walking back toward the dugout, gonna get his thoughts back together, and the dugout is just screaming at him to run. And Giles was his ever clever self yelling, "Run, Forrest, run."
Maybe broken bat, base hit into right field. Run, Jack, run. He will, and the Pirates are on the board as Brian Giles continues to sizzle. 2 for 2 tonight, his 30th RBI of the year.
Third baseman, Ramos Ramirez.
Come on, Jack.
So at least the Bucks are on the board now, down by 5, 3rd inning.
Even the trainers get in on that high five stuff. It's a high fist now, not a high five.
Ramirez fouled out the first baseman Eddie Perez in the first inning. Grounds this one, diving stop at third, throw to second, and they get the out there. Nice play by Placido Polanco. Pirates settle for 1 run. Going to the bottom of the 3rd here at Busch Stadium. Edgar Renteria will be due up second in the 3rd. If you'd like to contact any of the announcers or the production team with your questions or comments during a telecast, all you have to do is log on to foxsports.com on Lycos, keyword Pirates booth, and we'll try to respond to a few messages each telecast time permitting. Foxsports.com on Lycos, keyword Pirates booth. But don't be goofy about it. Eddie Perez takes ball 1. He singled in a run in the first inning against Bronson Arroyo. fouled out of play. Eddie Perez was involved in a spring training battle with a couple of other players to try and lock up the starting left fielder's job, which was open. One of the players competing against him was Al Martin, former Pirate. Martin did not make the club out of spring training. He was given the chance to report to their minor leagues and refused it. And he is back in Phoenix after undergoing, I believe, wrist surgery, and hopes to return to the big leagues somewhere next year. Lined toward right center, and Adrian Brown is there.
Shortstop.
With one away, it brings up Edgar Renteria.
Renteria with the big blow tonight. Bases loaded shot.
Tony La Russa thinks he's one of the best shortstops going these days with what he produces defensively and offensively. He says as the year goes on, he gets even more and more clutch.
Well, I think when he first came to the league, I maybe just underestimated him offensively or something. I looked at him as strictly a defensive player. That was kind of a bonus. You get something from him on offense. You look at a lot of middle infielders like that, second baseman, shortstop. But I'm thinking that his offense is more important than his defense.
And another hit.
Basically, I guess my own private scouting report on him has evolved to where I don't think he's as good a defensive player as maybe I once did, but he's a much better offensive player than I thought he was. When I first saw him in the big leagues as shortstop, I thought maybe Gold Glove type player, but I think he's below that. He's a good defensive shortstop, but not a Gold Glover. But he can hit.
Marrero takes ball one.
Now the Cardinals, with that 6-1 lead, they can afford to get a little aggressive on the bases. See how they play it with one out. That's going to be short, isn't it, Greg? Not for a moment. That one might come back far enough.
Did you really?
Yeah, but it fell short.
Yeah. 1 ball, 1 strike to count on Marrero. Two and one. Base hit to left. That's runners at first and second.
Slider breaking ball off the end of the bat. Nobody up in the bullpen. That's 7 hits now in the 3rd inning. Eventually, Mac's going to have to make that phone call. With that successful squeeze bunt last time up.
Just 218 last year. Has worked the last couple of off seasons with former Pirate Andy Van Slyke over the winters. Takes great pride in his defense, and he is known as one of the best defensive catchers in the league, Mike Matheny.
When you hit 218, better not lose that glove.
1-2. Hit 261 his first year with St. Louis. Former Brewer.
At 218, that's an area where no matter how good a catcher you are, they're going to be looking to upgrade every year.
Swing and a miss. Pirates in a similar situation with first baseman Kevin Young, who's just outstanding with the glove, but because his average is under 200, Pirates need to.
At first base, it's even more important because that is a traditional spot that you look for run production. An RBI position. Those positions, basically the corner jobs. Left field, right field, third base, and first base. Put the emphasis on defense up the middle.
Up the middle, Pokey Reese to Jack Wilson. Head to the fourth. See if the Pirates can scratch out a run or two and make this game interesting. 6-1 the score. The Arch, Busch Stadium. 6-1 Cardinals lead it. Time for the Aflac trivia question now. In the year 2000, Darryl Kile became the first Cardinal to win 20 games in a season. Since which two did it in 1985? We've had back-to-back years now with 20-game winners.
One was a right-hander, one was a left-hander.
1985, the two Cardinals pitchers that won 20 games.
One was an ex-Pirate.
One ball, two strikes. Quick appeal. Nope.
Craig looking for a breaking ball there. Craig, like taking advantage of a few starts here in a row. Koviak getting a little bit of a rest. Starting to swing the bat rather well, but he's popped up to center field in this at bat. You could see that Makoviak was starting to wear down a little bit, playing every day. That batting average of his was starting to really dip. So, boy, he's got McIlwack out of there for a little bit. Try and recharge those batteries.
Kevin Young hits one deep to left toward the line, and it will hit off the wall. Young will go into second base with a double. Off the base of the wall, Kevin Young, a two-base hit.
Boy, Kevin jumped on that curveball that time. Slow hook. Stayed up a little bit, about mid-thigh. Early in the count, you're just trying to really get it in that strike zone for a solid strike. So I'm sure that ball was probably real close to where Kyle meant it to be. Just didn't think Kevin was going to hit it for a double. Same pitch right there to Pokey Reese. And that's what he was trying to do. Just bend it in there for strike one.
Headed up the middle, but they played him that way. Second baseman Cairo.
Cairo playing that ball to his backhand when he really didn't have to. Kind of a dangerous move.
Chad Hermanson will be announced as the pinch hitter with Joe Beimel warming.
Next pitch batting for 30th, Chad Robinson.
He had time to get over in front of that ball, but went to the backhand. Most players, I don't know about Cairo, but the majority of players are nearly as good with the backhand as they are, getting the ball right in front of them. That's why I said it's kind of a dangerous play to pull up early and just use the backhand.
Hermanson, who's missed a few starts because of that bruised shoulder.
A cortisone injection into it, what, 2 days ago?
Yep.
Got a long needle in there. Ever watched him do that?
No. You?
Have you ever had one?
No. You?
I've watched and had them. Both.
Not a ton of fun having that long needle in there.
No, it's not. I could never figure out how they can find that joint. I mean, you would just think that needle would just like dig in the bone right away. But somehow they wiggle it in there. Find the wiggle room.
Two and two. Bucks need a big pinch hit here from Chad Hermanson with a runner at third and 2 outs. Find a way to get a run home. Three and two. Now, what do the Cardinals decide to do here to Hermanson? Adrian Brown on deck. 3-2 count. The Kile curve coming. Walked him.
Well, Chad didn't have to put much pressure on that injured shoulder. It was just take a couple.
Adrian Brown has flied out and grounded out.
Kyle not happy with himself for walking Hermanson. That's the one thing he can afford to do right now is start putting on people. Did the free pass with a 5-run lead. Cardinal no. I guess it's a
Cardinal rule.
It's a no for any team.
Yeah.
Not just the Cardinals.
Strike is called on Adrian Brown.
I wonder if when they get the rule sheet down in spring training it says Cardinal rules. You think?
Mm-hmm. I wonder if the Pirates might try and steal a run with runners at the corners, and Hermanson was almost caught. Lloyd McClendon likes to try this play with runners at first and third, depending on who's at the plate.
I don't know if he'll do it 5 runs down though. I don't know.
1-1.
Cardinals thought he might put that pickoff throw on.
Well, if he had it in mind, he won't be doing it now. You wouldn't think. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. And it's 1-2 on Adrian Brown. A disappointing season for Adrian Brown. There's been so much hope. Pirates talked often last year about all the injuries. And as Lloyd McClendon pointed out, hey, when you're missing your center fielder and leadoff man, that was a big part of the offense and the defense missing. So they're really counting on Adrian Brown this year, and it has not worked out to this point. Brown, arthroscopic surgery May of last year on that shoulder. 1-2 the count.
They really try to pitch Adrian inside. At least the Cardinals have. They pounded it in there. Woody Williams last night, everything right in on the hands. Watch Matheny, see what he gives a sign. Fastball. Go away this time. Oh, curveball. Did he put down one, Greg?
I didn't see it, Bob. Renteria sees the ball into his glove. Bucks do not score. We go to the bottom of the fourth. 6-1 St. Louis. St. Louis, bottom of the fourth. I'll tell you about the new pitcher, but first, the Aflac trivia question. A couple of years ago, Darryl Kile became the first Cardinal to win 20 in a season, since a couple of pitchers did it for the Redbirds in 1985. Who were those two hurlers? Bob said one a lefty, one a righty, one a former Bucko. There it is. Joaquin Andujar and John Tudor each won 21 games that year. Tudor, the former Buck.
Joaquin Andujar, one tough Dominican.
Just ask him.
That's the way he always referred to himself.
Very quotable, Joaquin Andujar.
John Tudor leaving the Pirates, I think it was after the '84 season. Well, it had to be. He won, that was '85, but he won 20 here. I know he was there in '84, though. I remember seeing him in the clubhouse.
Miguel Cairo rolls one to Jack Wilson. Joe Beimel on in relief. Play going 6-3. Don't miss the biggest fireworks display of the year. Compliments of PNC Bank and Pittsburgh area Saturn retailers, presented by Star 100.7. Pirates Brewers 1 week from tonight at PNC Park. For tickets, call 877-893-BUCKS or visit PittsburghPirates.com on the World Wide Web, or come down to the PNC Park ticket office. Sky Blast next Saturday. 877-893-BUCKS. That is a show you do not want to miss. Bronson Arroyo, 6 runs in 3 innings, 7 hits, a couple of walks, 1 intentional, a couple of strikeouts. Floyd McClendon would not say for sure whether Arroyo would make the next scheduled start, which would be Friday. There's a liner just eluding the glove of Aramis Ramirez. It's a 1-out double for Polanco.
Coming out of spring training, Greg, we were you see Ramirez just missing that ball as it got down to the corner. Everybody very concerned with the starting rotation. That was going to be a huge question mark. And it got off to a very good start, but we're starting to see the cracks there that we knew were going to be there in the very beginning of the season. It really shouldn't come to a surprise that the starting rotation is starting to be shuffled around a little bit. Was it 8 starters now? 8 guys have had starts for the Pirates. And there'll be some more.
Wells, Josh Fogg, again, 2 top hurlers in that rotation. David Williams made a start 5 days ago. Pitched shutout baseball into the 6th inning, but the next day could not complete his sideline work. The left-hander was shut down, sent to Pittsburgh for an MRI. Torn labrum in the left shoulder, so surgery is suggested, and he's probably out for the year. Jimmy Anderson, he will pitch Tuesday night. He has been up and down. Chris Benson, who pitches tomorrow, has had a rocky start since his return. Bronson Arroyo struggling tonight in his Pirates debut for this season. Pirates will look at other options, I'm sure, as we go along here.
Good job by Kendall. A lot of midnight oil burned up trying to figure these things out.
Night before last, when the Pirates arrived here in St. Louis, Lloyd McClendon and all of his coaches gathered in the hotel and burned the midnight oil, went over positions, players. McClendon said there are sessions that he tries to schedule on a pretty regular basis as he can learn some things. And a couple of things he heard in that meeting did surprise him. Ball 4. J.D. Drew walks. And now Albert Pujols.
Left fielder, Albert Pujols.
Pujols walked intentionally in the first inning, popped up in the second.
Stripe at the bottom there, 281 average, 10 home runs, 30 RBIs. Those were the numbers I was talking about last time he was hitting. He was just so awesome last year that this is kind of a come down for him, but still excellent numbers and doing a fine job. Just his second year in a Cardinal uniform, big league uniform.
Giles over toward the track. 2 outs.
What the Pirates really need and looking for, hoping for, and somewhere down the road they find their own Albert Pujols to go up from minor leagues and become a middle of the lineup impact player.
Lloyd McClendon, Tommy Sant, Dave Clark.
A good block by Kendall.
Two on, 2 outs. Pirates trail by 5. Weimel trying to get the last out in the 4th inning. 1-1. Eddie Perez became the 5th son of that Cincinnati Big Red Machine to be drafted in the very first round. Brian McRae in 1985. Lee May Jr. also that year in the first round. Ken Griffey Jr. in 1987. Balls in the dirt. 2-1. Ed Sprague, former Pirate, was a first-round pick. His father played on that Big Red Machine.
Some good father-son teams, huh?
Ed Sprague is playing AAA ball for Oklahoma, the top farm club of the Texas Rangers.
We'll get to see the Texas Rangers this year.
3-1. And a brief homestand next weekend against the Brewers, and the Pirates on the road again for a week. Anaheim and Cincinnati, then return home for interleague play.
Texas and Oakland coming in, right?
Oakland, Texas in that order, then Montreal. Oakland comes in the 18th, 19th, and 20th of this month as Eduardo Perez walks to load him up for Edgar Renteria. The Pirates have any hopes of trying to come back against Darryl Kile. Lloyd McClendon knows they just can't afford to give up many more, if any more, runs. The bases clearing double in the first, singled his last time.
Kendall's going to go out, have a conversation with Bimel. Greg, did you get a chance to read the St. Louis newspaper here today, the sports page? They really, I don't know if it was because it was Sunday or what, they do an unbelievable job.
Oh, I didn't read
Post-Dispatch for a baseball
tomorrow's
coverage.
early edition.
Yeah.
What did they have?
They had eight pages of baseball, basically, out of the 15 in the sports page. And a lot of baseball articles from all over the country. One of them has to do with the Texas Rangers. That's why I bring this up. They're talking seriously that they're not too far away from maybe busting that team up and starting all over. A lot of superstars on that club and no wins to show for it.
A swing and a miss, and the ball somehow gets away, and a run will score.
When I saw that happen, I thought that was a foul ball. Kendall is not arguing it, though, so it couldn't be one.
A pass ball on Jason Kendall.
Just missed it.
You heard it come off the glove there.
You didn't hear a double tick. If it had been a foul tip, you would have heard a double tick. That's what the umpires go on, because they can't see it. Tick the bat. Everything's happening way too fast for that. They have to make that call with their ears. Not the same pitch. That time Runner really did get a piece of it.
Two out, second and third, a run home on the pass ball. A 7-1 Cardinals lead. Limo gets Renteria. An unearned run comes home. A run nonetheless. 7-1 Redbirds going to the fifth. Copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Here in St. Louis, the Pirates trail the Cardinals 7-1. Fifth inning, Jack Wilson, Jason Kendall, Brian Giles. Wilson on base twice, an infield hit in the first, walked, stole a base, scored the only run for Pittsburgh in the third. And Purnell of Scottsdale, Pennsylvania is our Giant Eagle contestant. And a line drive, base hit to right for Jack Wilson, on base for the third straight time. Leadoff single.
I don't want to act like we're hoping for home runs, but we could use one now. That's another full weekend of racing across the Fox networks. Tomorrow starts your race day with NASCAR this morning, presented by Smirnoff Ice on Fox Sports Net, followed by the MBNA Platinum 400 on FX. Then get a full wrap-up of all the day's action on NASCAR Victory Lane All Access on Fox Sports Net. The Fox Networks, your home for NASCAR. Need someone to score some runs in a hurry with a home run. That won't do it. An easy fly ball to center. But when you get behind big early on, that's what you kind of reduce to, is playing for the 3-run homer the rest of the game. A couple guys on. I guess the cliche is a couple bloops and a blast.
Sounds like the gunner.
That's the
Couple of bloops and a blast.
that's the battle cry from the dugout at times like these.
Come on, you donkeys.
Is that what the gunner used to say? Couple
Yeah.
bloops and a blast? That's what they yell out down in that dugout a lot of times.
Fouled off by Giles.
Giles doing a great job, essentially all by himself in that lineup. Kendall coming on a little bit, helping out. But our offense has been Brian Giles and not much else.
Giles 5th in the league in slugging, 629, 7th in on-base percentage, 425, and a home run ratio of a home run every 12.8 at bats. That is the 4th highest ratio in the league. Strike is called. 2-2. Picked up his 30th RBI in the 3rd inning. Still 2-2.
Giles, the best players on this club for keeping things loose in that clubhouse. You don't see that part of Brian in his interviews. Big jug of a hook. Brian saying that pitch is off the plate away. Yeah, I can see where he's pointing.
Third baseman,
Saying it came around the plate. And boy, that does look like it's a little outside, doesn't it, Greg? Look at that. See where the plate is. See why Brian's upset. But during the interviews, at least that I have done with him, and ones that I have seen, he kind of plays things pretty straight most of the time. We'll do it.
Leadoff single mounts to nothing for Pittsburgh. Darryl Kile has given up a run. We're at the halfway mark. 7-1 Cardinals. Cardinals 5th inning. Joe Beimel, his 2nd inning of relief. Bottom 3rd of the order. Bucks have not yet retired the Cardinals in order. Strike is called. They've had action every inning. The big one, of course, that 6-run burst. Pirates have not fared well over the last couple of years against the Cardinals. And another base hit. Leadoff single for Eli Marrero, his 2nd hit. UPMC injury update. You see Dave Williams added to that list. He will go see Dr. James Andrews down in Birmingham, Alabama next week for a second opinion. Already it has been recommended by Dr. Patrick DeMayo, Allegheny General, that Williams have the surgery. He is very likely done for the year. Devastating blow to him. There's never any guarantee, especially for a young pitcher, that you hope it works out. Most of the time it does, but surgery is a serious thing. It's not guaranteed that if you undergo the surgery, you're going to come back and be a success. So that's a tough blow for Dave Williams and the Pirates. They often talked about a rotation next year. Benson, Wells, Fogg, perhaps Vogelsong, and Williams always seems to be counted on by Pirates in that mix.
Well, you got to have some left-handers in that starting rotation at PNC Park as your home field. That big left field and the short home run fence out there in right field.
The left, Giles on his horse. Nice running catch. Read that well immediately off the bat. One down. For Gary Sheffield, Hall of Fame talent has been overshadowed by controversy. Off the field, he reveled in the attention stardom brought, but his reckless lifestyle endangered himself and his family. Emmy-nominated Beyond the Glory takes you inside the hidden world of sports' biggest stars. Gary Sheffield, Beyond the Glory, presented by Acura, tomorrow at 8 right here on Fox Sports Net.
Darryl Kile asked to move the runner in the scoring position. And he does it nicely. The big important thing with that bunting is always direction. You put it in the right spot.
Second baseman,
Toward the first baseman, toward the third baseman, depending on what the situation calls for. You don't have to worry as much about killing the ball as you do other times. You put it the right way, and your job will get done most of the time. Kevin Young had to stay back and hold the runner.
So Kyle does his job. Sack goes 3-4. Miguel Cairo getting the start at second base. On the under the weather Fernando Vina. Ball one on Cairo. Marrero at second, 2 outs. An unearned run charged to Beimel in the 4th. Reese over, and nobody scores in the 5th. Pirates need to score. Starting to think about time now. 7-1 going to the 6th.
Pittsburgh Pirates baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Chrysler. Drive equals love. And by Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Back at St. Louis, and a look high above Busch Stadium. Home of the Cardinals since 1966. 7-1. St. Louis leads the middle game of this series. Tomorrow, a battle of former Tommy John surgery guys. Chris Benson and Matt Morris. Mookie Reese is in the hole, as they say. Craig Wilson at the plate. Kevin Young on deck.
A couple of left-handers go on against each other tomorrow. You know what they do? Take a ligament out of the left arm, put it in the right?
Sometimes.
Not always, though.
Not always. Out of play. Coors Light, what's on tap? There it is tomorrow. Cardinals, Bucks. Chris Benson and Matt Morris, who made his triumphant return. Really last year was his coming out party. 22-game winner. First year back, they made him a reliever.
Different theories on how to bring guys back from the major surgery when you miss an entire season. Cardinals deciding to go the route of the bullpen. I think you have to stay open-minded, though, and flexible. There probably is no right or wrong way for everyone. Take each pitcher as an individual and make the decision according to what you think is right for him.
Craig Wilson, a high fly ball. Eli Marrero been pretty busy. 1 out in the 6th.
First baseman, Kevin Young.
Craig Wilson seen jogging in from second base. He was hustling on that routine fly ball. Went as hard as he could all the way to second. last time up. KY got one to get me over curveballs. Drove it into the left field corner for extra bases. Really surprised to see the lack of velocity tonight in Kyle's fastball. Throwing some 86, that one there 87. When he left Houston, he threw the ball 93, 94, that overhand hook.
Kile left the Astros to become a free agent after he won 19 games in 1997. And then he found out what Coors Field was all about. When they put the balls in the humidor. It was BH before humidor. Kile went 13 and 17. He led the league in losses the year after he won 19 games. It was in 1998. Kevin Young pops this to second, 2 outs. Second year with the Rockies, Kile was 8 and 13. His earned run average ballooned from 2.57 to 5.20. That's from Houston to Denver. Second year with the Rockies, his earned run average was 6.61. Going 1 on Pokey Reese.
Well, if you're looking for a successful reclamation project for a pitcher, grab somebody that struggled in Colorado.
Yep. Mike Hampton. 1, 2, 3. Go the Pirates. Go to the bottom of the 6th. 7-1 St. Louis. St. Louis leads it. Sunday, June 9th, a week from tomorrow, Kids Inflatable Chair Day. Bucks host the Brewers. 1:35, 1 week from tomorrow, and all kids 12 and under get one of these kids inflatable chairs courtesy of AT&T Broadband, Adelphia, and Armstrong Cable Systems. The number to call, toll free for tickets, 877-893-BUCKS, 877-893-BUCS, or log on to PittsburghPirates.com. Great item. 1 week from tomorrow, all kids 12 and under get one of those kids inflatable chairs. Perfect for summer, outside the beach. Where you're going, take it with you. Placido Polanco, 2 for 3. J.D. Drew to follow, and Albert Pujols. Joe Beimel in his 3rd inning of relief. Cardinals trying to take advantage of that Cincinnati loss to Atlanta earlier. Tom Glavine getting that W. Ramirez on to first.
They'll catch the Reds eventually.
They'll move to within a game with a win tonight.
Right fielder, J.D. Drew.
Great success against the Pirates. Last couple of years have been rather ugly when we play the Cardinals, and mainly because of their pitching. We just haven't done anything with the sticks last couple of years, and that affects the stats in a very negative way.
Veteran pitching coach Dave Duncan. Pirates are 8 and 24 against the Cardinals dating back to the year 2000. Beimel falls behind J.D. Drew, 3-0.
Pirates have a batting average of less than 200. A team batting average less than 200 versus the Cardinals in that time.
Seventh year with the Cardinals for Tony La Russa.
He's taking heat here at times, though. He has such a track record of winning. He's going to get down in front of Giles. Wherever he is at, there's very high expectations. Can't, play above 500, come in third place. That's no good for a LaRussa team. They have to win.
They have won the Central, or at least shared the title, in 3 of his seasons as skipper, including the last 2.
We had an Aflac trivia question. It was when we were at home playing the Cardinals. LaRussa one of only 2 managers to win over 500 games with 3 different teams. It was Leo DeRocher, I believe, was the other guy. Leo DeLip.
Why'd they call him Leo the Lip?
I think he was rather sharp-tongued.
Oh. He got into little arguments once in a while.
Yeah, occasionally, yeah.
He wasn't the most well-liked manager of the opposition.
I guess it was DeRocher that said, the quote, nice guys finish last.
Yeah. He wrote a book for that title, didn't he? Three and 1 on Albert Pujols.
Now, Leo was in favor of you do what it takes to win.
We look at Joe Beimel, then Andy Pettit. Look with the cap. 3 and 2 on Albert Pujols.
I wonder where Leo would stand on the steroid issue.
If it helped his team win, he'd be in favor of it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Tony La Russa last night came out and defended Mark McGwire. Said he saw him work so hard, the weight room, his diet. Runner takes off the end of the bat, and the ball thrown away by Beimel. An ill-advised throw into center field. J.D. Drew, even though he stumbled, still makes it into third. An error on Beimel. First and third.
And Beimel, if he would have just turned and threw the ball, he would have been all right. But he turned and thought for a moment. Right there, he's thinking about it. You see that little hesitation? Little hesitation in the delivery of the baseball. He cocked it and then waited. Probably was thinking, nah, I shouldn't, and then went ahead and did it anyway.
Okie Reese, nice play to get one. Oh, Jack Wilson had to come off the bag. He gets the out there, but they won't get the double play. Run scores RBI for Eddie Perez, 8-1.
Let's see if Jack kept his toe on the bag. Very nice play. Pokey Reese again showing a great range. And yep, Jack kept it on there just long enough. He's making sure that he lets Jerry Davis know, pointing to it, say, I had it. And Jerry says, you're right, he's out. Jerry Davis in the hotel lobby today when we were getting ready to leave. Umpires staying down where we're at.
Giles makes the catch for the final out. 6 innings played here at Busch. Cardinals pick up another run and lead it 8-1. Your way only on Fox Sports Net from St. Louis. There's Big Mac.
But the media guide that the Cardinals put out, you have different sections in that guide. Everybody does. The Pirates, for instance, they have an organization section, a 2002 Pirate section. That's where all the players are. 2001 in review, a history section, postseason development, general, different chapters in a book, basically. Well, Mark McGuire, even though he's not playing for the Cardinals anymore, has his own chapter in the media guide of the Cardinals. Well, these media guides have really grown over the years, haven't they? They're huge
Novels.
now.
Brian Pudlow, as you see, is the Giant Eagle home run hitters contestant. Joe Bimo will be retired. 1 out. Join Dan Potash after the game. Pittsburgh Sports Tonight. Are the Bucks bullish on Bullington? You'll hear what the possible top pick has to say. Is Steelers fullback Dan Kreider back up to speed after a freak injury last year? Well, we'll find out. Plus, Pirate prospect Adrian Burnside, the Australian star pitcher for the Curve, could find himself in the big leagues sometime soon. All that and more after the game. Adrian Brown has flied out, bounced out, popped to short.
Is this the first time that Adrian's done this, Greg? Hit from the right side against the right-hand pitcher?
I think so.
I was just sitting here and I'm going, well, what's wrong with this picture? Why is he doing
No, I
this?
don't think earlier in this ball game he did.
No, I know he hit left-handed. Remember,
Yeah.
we were talking about him trying to jam him real bad, keep the fastball
Yep.
in on him. Huh. Well, we'll have to make a note of this. Ask some questions tomorrow morning.
Fly ball to left. Pujols will make the catch.
Adrian Brown be thinking of giving up switch hitting? I don't know why he would do that.
I think he would have gone to Lloyd McClendon. In most cases, you'd have to go to him and say, hey, I'm going to try this, or maybe McClendon or Dave Clark had suggested it.
You know, I saw Mac a while ago. It was in between innings, Greg, and he kind of motioned with his hand, you know, just kind of
Go ahead and do it.
backhand, like he was telling somebody to go ahead and do something. And I wonder if, well, I'll bet you anything now. Adrian probably asked him, do you mind if I hit right-handed? That's what he probably said, yeah, go ahead, do it.
I bet. Jack Wilson. A nice catch made by J.D. Drew. Wilson was threatening to collect his 3rd hit. The Bucks instead go down in order. Head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Let's check in with our Los Angeles studios for a sports update. Bottom of the 7th inning. It's not been a good night for the Pirates. Trailing the Cardinals 8-1. Over 40,000 on hand here tonight. Busch Stadium.
No such thing as momentum in baseball, is there, Greg? Yeah. If there was, the Pirates had some after last night's game coming in here against one of the hottest teams in the league and having a great job by Josh Fogg coming away with a win. You would think if there was momentum, you would get it then. Third game in a row with double figure and hits. First time they've done that all year. No carryover for tonight.
Popped up. Young make the catch.
Catcher, Mike Matheny.
It's the Best Damn Sports Show period with host Chris Rose, Tom Arnold, and a bunch of ex-jocks. The only show that gives you sports comedy, commentary, scores, and highlights. Kick back, relax, enjoy the Best Damn Sports Show period. Weeknights at 8 and 11 only on Fox Sports Net. Bounced past Jack Wilson in the left. Mike Matheny collects the Cardinals' 11th hit. And that will be it for Darryl Kile. We'll see Mike DeFelice.
Jack thought that he should have had that, but I don't know what he was going to do with it. Diving into the hole like that. Even if he comes up with it, still going to be a single. Jack's still shaking his head. He wanted it.
DeFelice has been no friend of the Pirates over the years. Bucks have gotten into some scuffles, and DeFelice himself got into one at a bar in Pittsburgh last year. After that incident, was let go by the Diamondbacks. Knocked out of play.
Wasn't it DeFelice and Kevin Young got into it?
Play at home plate a couple of years ago. Broke his bat. Kevin Young was trying to score on a play, and DeFelice took exception to how Young was trying to score on it. Bench is emptied.
Kyle in his 7 innings of work, 108 pitches. Not a bad night's work.
6 hits and 1 run.
Good off-speed pitch from Beimel. DeFelice out in front. Beimel getting some work in his own tonight. Who knows, the way things are going, it's not surprising if Beimel, some point down the road this season, finds his way back into that starting rotation.
Oh, and 2.
He and Sarback, though, done nice work out of that bullpen.
As has he, Ron Malone. Just out of the bullpen.
But that doesn't always mean, and I don't think it really means so here in Beimel's case, that you're going to pitch your way out of the bullpen and into that rotation. He may find his way into the rotation, but I think he probably won't.
He gets DeFelice.
And the Pirates think that he's in a good situation where he's at right now. Very effective. Or love for him to just leave him there. But sometimes your hands are forced. You have to do things you really don't want to do. And if that rotation really turns out to be thin, that's an option for him.
I think one of the options the Pirates were considering when Benson came back, instead of sending Lincoln down, they tossed around the idea of sending Beimel down and having him start at Nashville. Mike Lincoln, who had an ERA of 0.50 and the last look was continuing to do well down at AAA.
Yeah, it's a shame they couldn't find a way to keep him on the club. He did a great job last year.
Yep.
One of the few bright spots of the season last year. Lincoln coming up and giving some stability, that bullpen in the long man role.
You have to wonder what the Pirates are going to do now after Arroyo goes for 3 innings, gives up 6 runs, and his manager really didn't give him a great vote of confidence before the game, saying that we'll see after tonight if he will start Friday. If he pitches a no-hitter, believe me, he's in there. But of a wait-and-see attitude, and if they elect not to go with Arroyo Friday, they will have to consider other options. Beimel could be one. Malone could be one. Sean Lowe, who was strongly considered to be a starter in spring training. Last week, the Bucks decided to go with Josh Fogg. That turned out to be an outstanding decision. Josh Fogg will pitch again on Wednesday, looking for his 7th win. Boy, Todd Ritchie didn't have any luck on his side tonight. The former Pirate, who's traded in that Lowe, Fogg, Wells deal, lost again. The Indians 8-4 was the final. His record falls, I believe, to 3-7. All the runs, I think there were 8 runs against them. All of them were unearned. In the dirt, the runner goes to second.
Jason's had to block a lot of them tonight. Joe has bounced quite a few of them up there. At the pass ball, Joe looked like he cut a fastball. Kendall was expecting it to go the other way, and it's a sinker. The ball jumped in and missed it and cost him a run.
Stays 3-2 on Miguel Cairo. And Cairo will have another hit. Extra bases, an RBI. 9-1 Cardinals. Cairo a couple of hits. Filling in for Fernando Vina, who fell ill.
Regulars are out of there tonight. Jim Edmonds not playing.
Tino Martinez not in there. Now Lloyd McClendon looks like he's going to not only bring in a reliever, but do a double switch. Mike Benjamin will come on. Jack Wilson will exit. Beimel gave McClendon everything he had. Almost 4 innings for the reliever. 9-1 St. Louis. Short. He'll bat 9th. Ron Malone will bat 2nd. Malone's numbers overall. He was in the rotation before Chris Benson rejoined the team.
Malone getting the opening day start. Shea Stadium. It was a little wild that day. If I remember correctly, threw a ton of pitches early on. Pirates got off on the wrong foot with that loss that day, but well, they picked up the pace immediately.
Pirates started out the year 12-5.
kind of run they need to find a way to put together again. The way to do it is get the starting pitching to perform the way it did before. And that's how it's going to happen. It'll be the pitchers that lead the way.
Two and two on Polanco with a runner at second, a run home, 9-1 the score. Cardinals in the seventh.
Dave Littlefield pretty much was preaching it all winter long. Fastest way to make some kind of impact in that win-loss column is to rebuild this pitching staff. And they've started to. Still a ways to go yet.
Malone will retire Polanco. Cardinals pick up another run. 7 innings played here at Busch. A dozen hit for the Redbirds, and they're in front comfortably, 9-1. Pirates baseball exclusively on Fox Sports Net. The Cards lead the Pirates 9-1. Tomorrow 2 o'clock. Next telecast on WB 22. 2 o'clock. Looks like the Pirates will need it to win the series. Looks like it'll be a game apiece. And Chris Benson against Matt Morris. Steve Klein from Lewisburg, PA, out of West Virginia, just off the disabled list, takes over for Darryl Kile.
How about that hat, Greg?
They told me they had a Steve Klein Dirty Cap Night promotion here earlier this season, and they drew over like 40,000. They gave away caps. They poured like Coke and stuff all over them and started handing them to people. And they loved it.
Now that one is very old. I can't remember now how long he has had that. There's one looks a little dirty. He's seen multiple seasons. I know that.
I think it's in his second year. 2-1.
Like Biggio's batting helmet. It gets all dirty and messed up like that. But it's a nice place to hide little pine tar.
Shot past Renteria. Jason Kendall with his first hit tonight.
Left fielder, Brian Giles.
Get that sticky tackiness, that breaking ball moving a little bit better. At least that's what Leo DeRocher told me.
Whatever it takes. Giles a couple of hits, and the only RBI for Pittsburgh tonight belongs to Giles.
Brian last time up got called out on the curveball that was off the plate away. Something that he's really had to deal with a bunch this year is pitchers not giving him anything really fat to hit. You look at the numbers that he has put up this year, and even makes it more amazing that he's been able to hit over 300, 30 RBIs, 13 home runs. not being pitched to very often. Seen an awful lot of those borderline type pitches. Like that one that he struck out on last time up. Earlier when he was up talking about his personality not really coming through on the interviews, but he is at times hysterically funny. You get him out there on the camera and start out asking him, baseball type questions, and he just, gives you the baseball answers. I think it's up to you, Greg, one day to drag the true Brian Giles personality out of him in one of those interviews.
Well, the one thing about him, his sense of humor is so dry that a lot of times he does it without people even noticing it. You might be doing an interview and he might offer one of his responses and wow. They follow through with it. It was ball 4. It was a good throw from Matheny. And second base umpire called him out. It was ball 4.
The second base umpire having to follow through with it also.
Steve Klein been on the disabled list since the end of April with a left tricep strain. They have had to hold it together, the Cardinals, and they've done that with starters and relievers going down with a bunch of injuries, and they're starting to come back. Steve Klein, very valuable, durable pitcher, has led the National League in games pitched for 3 straight years. 0-1 on Ramirez. 9-1 Cardinals in the 8th inning. It's 2-1. Cardinals get somebody up in the bullpen. Tony La Russa won't waste a lot of time. Mike Timlin, the veteran, is up. This is Klein's first appearance in the Cardinals uniform since late April. Three and 2 on Ramirez.
Klein throws ball 4 here, Greg. Gotta believe he's done, huh? One thing a manager will not abide with a big lead is somebody walking people. Well, not only does he not throw ball 4, he comes with a 3-2 off-speed pitch. He gets strike 3. Ramirez walking back, thinking, how can I not get a fastball on 3-2 down 9-1?
Well, La Russa's going to go to the pen anyway,
no matter what. Yeah. Reading his lips, a couple of the words that I can say is talking about pitch to Giles, a 3-2 pitch, I believe.
Yeah, you can't say much.
Looking over at the umpire, and he's yelling at the umpire while looking kind of straight ahead.
Veteran right-hander comes on here to face Craig Wilson. 9-1 Cardinals lead it. talked last weekend when Timlin came on that La Russa was so desperate to find starting pitching. So many guys were hurt that he actually called on Timlin at one point earlier this season. Ball one on Craig Wilson. 3 fly ball outs. Darryl Kile in line to win his 3rd.
Craig just at 1 home run so far on the season. One of the big question marks going into this year was what kind of power was Wilson going to give you if he played regularly. That's one of the things that you're going to find out now. I'm not sure it can be answered yet. If he continues to get significant playing time like he has, and you get maybe to that all-star break, then the question should be pretty well answered in your mind.
And just as you asked, we answer with a home run. Craig Wilson, a 3-run jack off of Mike Timlin on a 1-2 pitch. Just his 2nd. And of course, Steve Kline not happy. 2 of those runs against him.
Kline is really unhappy with Mike Winters, the home plate umpire, and now he's, I'm sure, really stewing. Oh wait, Craig. That bat's starting to come alive. You see where that ball landed also, Greg? I mean, this is just a monster shot. Ball got way back in those seats. Way back up in here.
Craig Wilson, the 3-run homer, makes it a 9-4 game.
McGuire-like home run. That was close.
Yeah.
That was 6 inches from your laptop, wasn't it?
Almost. Over the monitors. Broken bat, roller to 3rd. Two outs. Craig Wilson able to smile.
You know, you feel good about that. You don't want to go in that dugout and start partying, though, because you're down by a bunch of runs. But there's nothing wrong with smiling about, doing something like that, hitting the ball 400 and some feet.
Pokey Reese 1 for 3, lined out his last time.
Needs a hit to stay off the interstate. It's an even 200 right now. Sure don't want to be on the interstate in June. So put him on it, though.
6-3. 3-run homer for Craig Wilson. One of the few bright spots tonight for the Pirates. They're down by 5. Much from which to pick for the Pennzoil protection play of the game, but Jack Wilson was looking for his 3rd hit of the game. J.D. Drew made the catch. Our protection play of the game. Brought to you by Pennzoil. We're driving protection. J.D. Drew leads off against Ron Vallone. On base 4 times this evening, J.D. Drew.
I wonder just how good J.D. Drew might be one of these days. You get I get the impression watching him that maybe he has just shown the Cardinals perhaps the tip of the iceberg on his talent. He could win Gold Gloves in the outfield. He could be a big base stealer. He might be a pretty credible power hitter one of these days. A lot of different tools.
Last year hit .323. Didn't play the whole year. This is fouled out of play. But no question, a lot expected of J.D. Drew. Deep to center, Adrian Brown on the short hop, and J.D. Drew has his second double, his third hit, on base for the 5th straight time.
Well, that's a good example of what we were just talking about, his talent. A 3-2 breaking ball from a left-handed pitcher. Looked like I think it was a slider. Looked like it was cutting away. That wasn't in a real good spot. It was pretty much belt height down the middle, but still stayed on it, drove it in that left center field gap, hit it hard, extra bases. That's impressive hitting. And not giving away the at bat either. Some guys will take these late game at bats off. They won't stay focused, game's out of hand. That's how you become a lifetime batting average up above 300 type guy. You don't take at bats off. You got to stay with every single one of them.
Brown makes the catch, goes toward third. J.D. Drew got all that criticism for not signing with the Phillies. It still kind of boggles the mind that major league players got on J.D. Drew. I mean, really ripped them. Remember Curt Schilling?
Boggles my mind too. I just could never understand it. I thought
the thinking is so warped, because that's the players always say, you know, they get the big contracts. Hey, if I'm worth it, they'll pay me. That's what J.D. Drew's agent was saying.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong whatsoever with what he did. It's totally in his rights to, you know, he didn't want to play with Philadelphia, so it's not like he could just pick somebody else. He had to sit out an entire year.
He took his medicine.
Yeah,
played in an independent league.
So what's the big deal?
And yet just thinking is so warped. Actually, I admire the guy. I really do, because it took guts.
I agree, Greg. A gamble on his part.
Yep.
What if he tore his knee up or something playing in that Minnesota Independent League?
Yep. Tells you about the confidence of the guy, what kind of player he is and will be. Eddie Perez with the infield in. 9-4 Cardinals lead. His dad loved these situations. Chance to pick up an RBI, didn't matter what the score was. Eddie Perez has 2 RBIs tonight. Runners at first and third.
Shortstop, Edgar Renteria.
And it's Edgar Renteria. Wilson getting that arm ready. Safe Auto Insurance, safe at home. Total donated to Mothers Against Drunk Driving so far this season. Approaching $1,000 to this point, $955. Strike on Renteria. That double you see on the screen was the big blow. Brought in 3 runs. Gave the Cardinals a 5-0 lead. They would score 6 in that first frame.
Malone, his modus operandi with right-handers, he really likes to try and get fly balls, get the ball inside on him. Well, he's gone away with Renteria a couple of times. Reminds me a little bit of Neil Heaton. Neil loved to throw right-hand hitters right on their hands with that fastball all day long. Talking about that area right there.
Coming in.
Wanted it in there. Didn't get it. Saw Kendall. A little crow hop to his left. That's kind of a bunny hop there. There wasn't really a true crow hop. Again, same spot. There it is. Didn't get the call. Hit the spot. Renteria hits into a lot of double plays. Might start the runner. Nope. Double plays hasn't hit it. Well, I need to start remembering to bring my reading glasses every single night. 11 on the year. Far and away leading the team. Arms are just too short anymore.
He walks Renteria. Bases are loaded. Cardinals look for more. And now Kendall out to talk to Ron Vallone. McClendon not happy about the walks.
Nothing going on in the bullpen. Ron's going to have to get out of this one himself.
Marrero with a couple of hits. Playing center field tonight for the injured Jim Edmonds. Popped it up. Reese. Infield fly. Two outs, and the batter Mike Matheny. Tino Martinez seated next to Jim Edmonds.
Catcher,
Teenage in his
Mike
first year in the National League. Jim showing off that stroke.
Nursing that sore wrist.
Had x-rays taken yesterday.
Tried to stay in the game afterwards. He went out there about 2 more innings, but couldn't take it and had to get him out of there. That's the wrist. Pretty sure they said it was his right one.
I don't know which one it was.
No, I think they said it was his right wrist.
Looked at the replay to try and find out where it might have happened. He was trying to avoid a tag or Jason Kendall. I thought he might have hurt his right side, twisting out of the way. 2-0 on Matheny.
'22, wasn't that big Jack Clark's number?
I think it was.
When he was
Yep.
here?
Yep. I asked Matheny if he remembered when he was with the Brewers. Rich Loisel was pitching for the Pirates. Hit him in the face. I thought it was on a foul ball that came up and hit him after it hit the plate. He said, "Oh no,
it was a pitch."
Yeah. And he says, "You don't forget those kind of things." So
And he never moved.
that's what that was the amazing thing. And all of a sudden, just blood started pouring out of his mouth.
Never moved. Took one right in the face. Fastball.
Yeah.
Boys up by throwing about 98. Didn't go down. Hadn't started bleeding. They probably left him in the game.
Yeah. Loisel, another former Pirate who was in camp with the Cardinals this spring, but did not make the club and not playing professionally. This is fouled off.
He hung it up.
Well, I think he'd probably like to get a job, but nothing going. Back home in Phoenix.
You'd think somebody would give Rich a AAA job somewhere.
Struck him out looking. Matheny's kind of smiling, thinking, "Oh, you want this one over." Go to the ninth. 9-4 St. Louis.
Pittsburgh Pirates baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. The best part is our people. And by your local Jeep dealers. Jeep, there's only one.
Well, it's not been a real pretty night for the Pirates, as the Cardinals struck first early and often, and they're leading at 9-4. Pirates will try and put this one behind them and go after the Cardinals tomorrow afternoon with Chris Benson on the hill. Boy, you really hope Benson has a good start, and we expect him to be up and down, but hate to see him get hit hard every time out there. So one of these days he's going to have a good outing. Maybe it'll be tomorrow against Matt Morris.
He seems to still have a good attitude about it. That the bad numbers, the losses, the ERA going way up. I guess it's in the 9s. It really isn't taking a toll. He realizes this is all part of it. He's going to have to just work his way through it this season.
Mike Benjamin, his first late appearance. Injuries are, I'm sorry.
I mean, in spring training, Greg, we're talking about the starting rotation. Sometimes people would bring up, well, but you'll be getting Benjamin back probably late May or something, you know.
Benson?
Benson, yeah. And ball's lifted out the JD through. And I would, yeah, you're right about that. We probably are going to get him back in late May, but in the short run, that's going to be a negative for the starting staff, not a positive. You're going to start every game knowing that you're probably getting 5 innings at best out of your starter. So Benson going into that rotation at first, we knew all along was not going to be a positive step for the rotation. but it's just something that's like, you know, taking that bad medicine. You gotta do it. And Chris has to realize the same thing everyone else does. It's going to have patience. Probably these first 10 starts are going to be really hard for him. But when you get into August and September, that's when you need to start seeing some progress, and he has to start throwing his good games on a consistent basis. Hopefully you'll get a couple before that, like you were just mentioning. Maybe tomorrow might be one. But even once he has that breakthrough where he throws the 2-hitter on somebody for 7 innings, that doesn't mean that he is okay, he's back. You can't say that.
Adrian Brown batting right-handed again, as you mentioned, Bob. Looks like Pirates are going to maybe consider bagging that switch hitting role.
It looks like it.
Terry Robinson is out in left field, by the way, for this 9th inning. If you are keeping a scorecard, Terry Robinson in left, and J.D. Drew, our Advanced Auto Parts player of the game, on base 5 times.
He just tipped his hat to us. I think he knew that. He was the Advanced Auto Parts player of the game.
Keith Osick pinch hits for Valone.
Cardinals baseball all up on the feet now.
Finland strikes out pinch hitter Keith Osick. Pirates go down quietly in the 9th. So, rubber game of the series tomorrow. Chris Benson against Matt Morris. Let's go to the Pittsburgh Sports Tonight studios.